guys? Welcome to another episode of Dirt Diamond Sports Talk with Ryan and my man Wally. Hey Wally, it's another Monday, man.
It is.
After a painful series up in Boston, did you medicate with anything fun or interesting over the weekend?
I think not Medicaid. I think it was Marinate. That was
Oh
terrible.
man, it was a brutal weekend. Admittedly, I didn't get to watch a lot of it as it was happening. It was just a long work weekend for me, and so I had it on at the shop, and I've obviously get notifications on my watch and phone and all of that. It was brutal. It was kind of Man, I kind of felt okay not watching it because I feel like I would have just become a frustrated fan, like a lot of people on the socials, unfortunately. But there's some silver linings, I think, within the pain and frustration and some of the things that we're going to talk about. But were there some standout things for you this weekend?
The only things that I really saw was that Hunter Brown was what we've been trying to get Hunter Brown to be, for the last X period of time. He threw about 67% strikes up until the last inning. He was over 71. That was a game the Astros had to find a way to win. They just didn't. Um, couple execution things that just didn't happen, and they just didn't win. It's kind of a microcosm of the whole weekend. You talk about not seeing stuff. They put that Sunday game on Roku, so both people that had access, I think, enjoyed the game.
Yeah, I
But
don't understand MLB's line of thinking there.
I don't either. They should at least make it. They should at least make it available to the home squads on whatever over the air or however they work that.
For
But
the home networks.
give you an
Yeah.
idea. Give you an idea how the Astros were. I mean, their ERA for the series. Their ERA for the series was terrible. It was 4.68. Starters carried the brunt of it as 6.35. The batters didn't help out. They were 2.33 average, 3.30 slug, and a 6.25 OPS. And the runners in scoring position were 2 for 18. You might be able to overcome one of those. You can't overcome all of them. The only guys that really hit were Pena, and that was all in one game. Christian Walker had a good series, 300. Jesus Sanchez hit okay, but he had that one base running gaff. And in the game two, Caratini was 4 for 5, and Correa hit that home run in the last game. And Correa also hit 2 bombs in the first game to center field that just didn't quite make it out. And but I'm glad we have Correa, because Correa, I think, is the one guy that we've got right now who's going to be a vocal leader. And as things get out of whack, he's the one guy that has the gravity to tell people to get it in line, and they'll listen. Altuve, they talk about as being the clubhouse culture guy, but Altuve does never seem to be the guy who's going to call somebody down or hold a team meeting and say, guys, it's time for us to figure this thing out.
Yeah, I think bringing Carlos in, we've said it, lights a fire in this team. It brings that real dynamic type of leadership. Whereas you said, Altuve is kind of that quiet confidence guy. He's that guy that is the example that is set and is the guy that everybody kind of looks to and says, I want to do what Carlos is or what Altuve is doing.
I want to be Jose. I want to be Jose.
Yeah, and not necessarily Jose being the guy that's in their face saying, hey guys, what are we doing? What do we need to change it? How do we put this into action? Let's take it one game at a time, one at bat at a time. Correa's that guy. And I think that this change in potentially that energy in the clubhouse is going to do this team some good. We didn't see the results right away here in the first series with him in there, But you did take notice when the kerfuffle with
Yeah,
Neris showed up.
exactly.
There was good old Carlos Correa right there, talking to Neris, putting his glove in his face, saying, "Chill out, dude. This is not what we're doing right now. This is not how we're gonna play this game and do this." Of course, there's all the chatter about Boston and was Story stealing signs, and it looked like Boston knew exactly what pitches were coming and when and all of that mess. But when it comes down to it, you said it, not just in a text, but it's been all through
I
the
put it up on
Twitter
X.
threads. If you score 5 runs in 3 games, you can't really expect to win a whole lot, especially when you're going up to Boston.
Well, and also people, for Neris getting all upset, if you're tipping, figure out why and quit tipping. That's pretty simple. I got no problem with somebody stealing a sign. If you're making it so obvious that they can steal it, then get your act straight.
Yep. Yep.
Get it straight, get it straightened out. We talked about Correa coming over, and I think also another guy, Jesus Sanchez, is going to be a really key pickup for a number of reasons. When you see him take at bats, he looks very balanced. He looks like he's a player. He had that one base running blunder, but Jose has done a couple of those before, so we'll give him a pass. But I think the biggest part of that is he gives the outfield some flexibility. And Cam looks to have hit the wall. And for the first time all year, he looked frustrated. There's a couple of sliders that he knows he should have hit. He swung right through. And that gives him a chance not to feel like he's got to take it on himself. The last 2 games, he was 8. He's going to be hitting 9 tonight. Just let him, it's great to let Cam just be. He's still learning the game. He's played more games in a season than he ever has in his life. If you'd said you'd got this out of Cam Smith at the start of the season, even with his tail off his slump, you'd have been thrilled. And I think this is going to be really good for Cam. As far as the rest of the team, looking back on the Boston series, these injured starters cannot get back fast enough. Looks like Arrighetti goes tomorrow night. Javier goes next week. Garcia maybe later in August. But we got to temper our expectations on those guys because they're just coming back. If we can get 4 or 5 innings out of them to start off with, and probably that's going to come at the expense of Colton Gordon, which is, I hate to say it, but he's got limited stuff. And if it's not there, man, he gets hard. There was that last home run he threw. I think it was against Story. Against Story. Story just he hung one, and Story just knocked it into next week.
Yeah. I think that when you start looking at the pitching, Fromber had one of his typical meltdowns.
Got
Hunter
one a
Brown
year,
was,
don't you?
well, 1 or 2 or 3, depending on who and where he's playing. Just happened to be in Boston and not against somebody like Oakland or Sacramento, whatever we call those guys. But you brought up Hunter Brown, and as the game was going on, I texted you something, and I said Hunter seems to be throwing the ball less. He's picking his spots. He's working the zone. They said it a little bit on the broadcast as well that he was working his spots, and it seemed as though his strategy and his plan was working for him, whereas a few of his last couple starts really hadn't been working for him. So that was encouraging to see outside of the lack of run support that he got. But yeah, I mean the pitching woes are, I can't imagine that these guys are really that gassed yet, but maybe they are.
Well, we talked about when you talk about Hunter and what you brought up. Maybe take a look back at some stuff. You've got Hunter threw just under 14 pitches an inning last time. Okay, and he'd thrown close to that when he had that gym against the Phillies about a month and a half ago. But up until then, he's not come any place close to that. So hopefully he can just relax and hit his spots. As far as the pitchers being gassed, I don't know if they're gassed or, the pitchers, when they face a team the first time, they normally have the book. And then a guy like Colton Gordon's a perfect example. And he throws about 92. He's got to be perfect. He's got to hit his spots. And when the book gets around the league, they say, wait for that slider, for example. And I don't know if that's the book or not, but that'll just give them an idea. It says, wait for him. If you wait for it, he'll throw you a pitch, and they'll just know not to get panicked on the guy. That's what makes Brandon Walter been so good. Brandon Walter throws a couple of miles an hour faster, but man, Brandon Walter knows how to pitch. And Gordon's learning how to pitch. And Gordon's what, 24, something like that. And Walter's 28. Walter's got a few more years under it.
Yeah, I think when these guys start taking their ability to mix up their pitches a little bit better. And it's a confidence thing too, sure. Like you just said, it's an age and maybe a little bit of extra work behind them, and that confidence there. Gordon still fairly new to the league there, and got to get that confidence. And like you said, his velocity is not that high, but he's got good movement on the ball. He can work those pitches well and not leave them dead center into the zone. And I think that this guy can be somebody that the Astros can end up relying on.
He can be serviceable, but he's got to hit the corners. A guy like Hunter throws 97, 98. He can throw it down the middle to certain guys and know that I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna throw as hard as I can and say you can't hit me no matter what I do. If I throw 98, you can't hit me.
Yep. Well, speaking of confidence, got to temper some expectations here coming up, I think, because we do have one of our starters coming back, our injured guys. Arrighetti seems to be starting at some point against Miami in this next series coming
Tuesday.
up. Yeah.
It looks like Tuesday because they've got Hunter posted for Wednesday.
Oh, did they already post it? Okay.
Yeah, they posted Hunter for Wednesday.
Okay. There you go. So it looks like we'll get to see Arrighetti. So probably not expecting anything more than 65 pitches or so, at most 4 or 5 innings out of him. And I think we've got Christian Javier maybe another week away.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yep. And then Garcia, they're kind of tempering our expectations on him, but we're hearing probably late to extra late August. So we could get a little bit of relief, again, tempering those expectations on these guys. They've had good starts in rehab. They've had a couple of them have had sketchy starts in rehab, like Arrighetti's start the other night. That was the night of the trade deadline. And I think, though, that this will be just a nice, heavy kind of sigh of relief to the pitching squad, the starters, at least right now, knowing that there's a little bit of help coming in the way of Arrighetti and Javier specifically.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't surprise me. A lot of these guys got brought up in the minors way back in the Luno days of doing tandem starts. Mm-hmm. And for those who are not aware what we're talking about with the tandem start, in the minor leagues, you'll see a lot of these tandem starts where a starter will go 5 innings and another starter will come in and go 4 innings. Or if they're home, they might go 4 and 4. Hopefully they'll win. Now you could certainly see like a Javier and a Garcia, or Arrighetti and Garcia, Javier. You mix it up to where one would go 5, the other one go 4. So you have 2 top line pitchers, and it can hopefully give the bullpen a break. I haven't heard anything about that, but it would certainly be something that, if they can start a clean inning, it would be worth considering. They're at a point now where they have to win. As far as things go, they're no longer in a position where they can rest on a 7-game lead, because either tonight they're going to be 3 games or 2 games ahead.
Yep.
Seattle's hot, and Seattle is real. Let me read you a couple of lineups. The lineup with the Astros. Typical Astros lineup is something like Pena, Altuve, Jesus Sanchez, Correa, Walker, Diaz, Trammell, Dubon, and Arias. Something like that. And you could throw Cam Smith and Victor Caratini in there. The Mariners lineup is a Rosarina, Raleigh, Jesus Rodriguez, Josh Naylor, Gino Suarez, Jorge Polanco, Dom Calzone, who's a guy you really need to watch because this kid's going to be a hitter. Crawford and Cole Young, who's a really good rookie second baseman. They've got Dylan Moore and Mitch Garver coming off the bench. And I didn't really take a look, but you could go all across the lineup and say 6 of those guys for the Mariners would be better than what we have. 6, 7
Yeah.
of what we have. It's a really strong lineup, and they can pitch. And the Astros just have to know how to win. And the Mariners have the schedule on their side coming up, because when you look at the next several series, the Astros opponents are 29 over 500, and the Mariners are 28 under 500. So that's a 57 game difference. Big. Astros got to step up.
Yep. Yeah, this is probably the strongest lineup that the Mariners as a team may have ever fielded ever in the history of Seattle Mariners baseball.
Yeah. Well, they won 116 games number of years ago, but the Yankees took them out. And that was against, if I recall, a pretty weak division.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think that was
old guys like me remember stuff like that.
Well, that was a weak division, and back when division play was really important, and it wasn't. We didn't have the what's the word I'm looking for?
You didn't have the total interleagues.
The interleague
you didn't have the total
now.
interleagues. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that, don't you?
Yeah, I think it helped with the rivalries a little bit more, and I think it kind of leveled out how teams really built based on that kind of level of competition. It made the playoffs a little bit more fun as well, because again, those teams were built more for division play. And yeah, playoffs were a lot more fun because you hadn't faced them, 6 games out of the season already or anything like that.
Right.
So
well,
yeah, that was a fun time.
In our own league, our own division, it was like 19, and now it's 13.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, so you still see them a lot.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, you're going to beat each other's brains in. And so you really knew within that division who was the best. I mean, if I ran the circus, I'd like to expand to 2 more teams and have 2 leagues of 4 divisions. And then the winner of that division gets into the playoffs. You don't win your division, you go home.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, so JP3 is back, even though he had his little cramp hamstring, and Correa played shortstop, which was a little surreal seeing him back out there shortstop again.
And Correa, like, you can tell Correa's still a damn good shortstop, because he made a couple of plays back in the hole that were just, there was. But it's funny, when I look at Correa and I look at Pena, both of them are Gold Glove shortstops, and they play the position completely different.
Yes.
Think about it.
Yep.
When Correa has this gun for an arm, which is why I want him to play left field at some point in time. He has this gun for an arm, but he plays back, and he's comfortable going into the hole and then just throwing from the hole. Whereas Pena is always charging the ball, always trying to get around and go forward towards the ball, and then flipping it to first base. The ball gets there about the same time. Pena probably gets there quicker than Correa's does, but they're both so good and play it completely different.
I think that might be a little bit of a generational thing too, because when you see a lot of the younger shortstops that are coming up now don't play back. Like some of the previous, some of the older
Pena's younger
guys.
And he's playing forward.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I think that's a big part of the change in generational play. Maybe the way that they learn, speed of runners now, a little bit faster, potentially. Trying to get to the ball a little bit quicker and get it over to first base a lot faster.
I'm kind of spitballing this. I hadn't thought about it, but when Correa came up, it was at the height of the shift. So Correa played a short left field a lot of times.
Very good point.
And so that's where he got used to playing. Whereas Pena, they don't have the shift. They still move as much as they can, but Pena's got to be able to cover that hole a little better, or just come up and and play more. So just kind of a thought. But JP is back. He looked fantastic. Got 3 hits his first 3 at bats. The curmudgeon in me would say now he's 0 for 6, but hopefully he'll be back
Yeah, I
back
think
better.
give him a little bit of time. After coming back, that was one of the things they said on the broadcast after being injured and sitting on the bench for a while, coming right back and first pitch knocks. It
Yep.
was really great to see. So
Yeah. 2 pitches, 2 at bats, 2 hits.
yep, yep. As the banner said, JP3 is back, but where's Cam?
What do you think? You think he's hit the wall?
No, I don't think that he's hit the wall. I think that this is something that every really good rookie goes through. And when you look at rookies that come up, we've seen it here on our team even. And it's something that rookies go through. You have some early success, confidence level goes up. Like you said, the book starts getting out. People start figuring out where to pitch you, where your holes are a little bit. And maybe as a rookie player, that confidence kind of starts to wander a little bit, and the head games start to come in. I'm a rookie, man. They put me up here. I started playing good. Am I cut out for this? When one of these guys comes back from injuries, are they going to send me down? Do I need to rework on this? Maybe you start questioning a lot of things that, as a rookie, you're still learning. You're still learning. And so I don't think that he's hit a wall. I don't think that he's hit his ceiling. I think it's just kind of one of those slumps that a rookie goes through. Triple tie your left shoe, put your batting gloves in your opposite pocket, wear a wristband
Uh,
on the other side, and put a different necklace on or something. I don't know.
yeah.
Start, just mix it up a
Hey,
little bit and get back out there,
maybe maybe he goes nuclear loose and starts wearing a garter belt.
man. Yeah. That's still one of the most
Here's
hilarious
something
stories.
I just pulled up. I just pulled up on Baseball Savant. It seemed to me he's chasing a lot more,
Mm.
especially the high fastball.
Well, didn't Pena go
And
through? Pena went through that.
well,
Pena went through
Pena's
that.
sliders low and away, and the reason he's hitting so well this year is he finally learned not to swing at that pitch. Right now, Cam's chase percentage is 35%, and the league average is 29.6. So it seemed to me that he earlier in the season, I tried to find something of his chase percentage by month, but I couldn't find it. But it seems to me like he's chasing more. And these pitchers are good enough that if if you're not going to swing at strikes, they're not going to throw at strikes.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
Well, and I
and
think maybe
also,
that's a false confidence thing as well. You built up this confidence that I can hit just about anything that's thrown at me.
yeah, it could be.
You start seeing those balls come in, and I'm going to reach for it because if I can make contact and I can make something happen here, And so I think that sometimes as a player, you really try to make stuff happen. And so if you're chasing out there and you just, you have that in your mind, if I can just I just need to make contact. I need to get back to where I'm just hitting the ball and then let it fall where it may. That may be part of the mindset that he's really kind of going through, especially after having some early success, making good contact. When making good contact, good things happen for him. And so not a false confidence necessarily, but just a, if I can make contact type of mentality and attitude going out there when you're in the box. And pitchers have figured that out. And so, hey, let's throw it out just a little bit beyond his reach and make him chase it.
Well, I kind of wonder, and we're just, again, just spitballing because you can't, he's a young player and he seems to have a lot of composure, but I wonder how much of this is Espada had to move him up in the lineup due to necessity.
Yeah.
And, and especially when he was hitting 1 and 2, he did fine when he was cleanup, it seemed like. But uh, when he was hitting first and second, I mean, it's like he was pressing. And maybe getting him down to 8 and 9 again, he gets a chance to just play.
Yeah.
And also at 8 and 9, especially 9 tonight, his job as much as anything else is to take pitches, get on base, turn a lineup over. When you look at who the lineup is tonight, um, it's going to be, let's see who's leading off. I should know this, but It's going to be Pena, Sanchez, Altuve, Correa, Walker, Caratini, Diaz. Yeah, for the first time, this lineup looks in a while. This one lineup looks like a major league lineup.
Yeah, it actually is, right?
I mean,
It's a good feeling to see it. Yeah. Have you seen any info on Jake Myers?
no,
I haven't seen an update
I
on that
looked.
either.
Just the normal release, press release, no press release that he's working his way back.
Yep.
Yeah, that
A little news on Paredes came out today. So pretty serious strain, not a tear as some of us
I
had.
thought it was a complete tear.
Nope. So it said what I read was a serious strain. Let me see if I can find where that put
He
that.
got a PRP.
He did get a
They gave him a
PRP.
PRP.
Yep, did get a PRP. Dana Brown said Isaac Paredes is choosing to rehab his significant quote unquote hamstring strain instead of having surgery, which could be a 6-month recovery. Him wanting to rehab is him letting us know that he wants to be part of what's going on here right now. So it sounds as though it wasn't a tear, just a serious strain that was serious enough that it could have required some surgery. So
If it was a complete tear, it would have been.
yeah, it would have had to have been, but yeah, not a tear, so a serious strain, and he's going to take the PRP and start rehabbing. So
Yeah.
I'm still not confident we'll see him before the end of the season.
No, he's done. He's done until he's back.
Yep. Yep. So, all right, what about some news from around the league?
Well, the Astros need to talk to the schedule maker
Yeah,
because
no
the two
kidding.
hottest teams that we've seen, of course, the Red Sox have won 5 in a row. The Astros helped them out there. The Marlins have won 5 in a row. The Marlins are at 500 for the first time since April, and they at one time were 16 games below 500. So you're talking about a team from then to now has as good a record as anybody in baseball. Guys like Colton Cowser are really fun to watch. They're going to play Santander. They're going. Who's pitching against us tonight? It's Alcantara. I say
Is it
Santander.
okay?
That was,
Yep.
yeah. Alcantara's going tonight. He's hit and miss, but he's been good lately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's
Um,
one of the guys that the Astros had targeted during the trade deadline.
yeah, and I imagine they wanted the same thing that the Padres wanted, or something like that. So, I don't know if the Red Sox are that good or the Astros were that bad, but they're good, and Milwaukee keeps on playing well. They're a great story. They're the only. Did you have who had the Brewers as having the top record in baseball on their bingo card?
Yeah, I don't know
You know,
if you did, let me know. I'll meet you in Vegas and let's go throw some craps.
let's do that. But no one's set to win 100 games this year.
Yeah, this might be what this is the second year in a row
Second year in a
that's
row. The
yeah.
Brewers are on the pace to win 97, so they could win 100. The Yankees always start off. Man, you got to think they're going to clean house in New York, wouldn't you? How does Brian Cashman still have a job?
This
It's the
is
same. We've
the
talked
question
about it
of the year
before.
every year.
It's the same thing every year. It's almost like listening to the Aggies play football. It's this year, or the Cubs, or the Cubs used to talk about with Ernie Banks. It's like the story that Rose would say
Is
is
this
like,
the
"Hey,
year?
this is our year. This is our year. This is our year. So we still got a chance. We still got a chance. So we get them next year. We get them next year."
Yeah.
And that's what's going on with the Yankees. It's just the lineup construction is terrible. Although the Ryan McMahon thing seems to be doing pretty well. That looks like it's a good fit.
Yeah.
Um, you know, listening to Jim Bowden today on MLB radio, he says it's San Diego and Seattle in the World Series, and I hate to say it, but that's not a bad call.
It's not far-fetched.
Seattle looks really good,
Seattle
and
does look
and
really good.
I
And the
mean,
Padres, interestingly enough, after all the moves that they made, it would be surprising to not see them give the Dodgers a run for their money.
yeah, and to give San Diego some props, if you ever get a chance to go out to Petco
Oh
Park,
man,
do it.
it's
Have you been there?
amazing. Yes,
I have
Yes.
too. When Mary
I
and I went
love
there,
San
like,
Diego, period. Like that whole part of the city right there along the waterway,
yeah,
along the
and go to
waterfront
Coronado
is,
Island.
yeah, it's
Oh,
so
it's so
amazing.
cool.
It's such a great city. And it's one of those few, and I'm not going to get all political or whatever, but it's one of those few like downtown California cities that's just it's clean, it feels
Yeah,
safe, it's a place that you can walk around and not feel like you're looking over your shoulder.
it's cool. It's just
It's a
cool.
great, great city. I have always loved visiting San Diego. Yeah,
No, it's the it's probably the best city or the best um park to see. Man, it is so fun.
yeah, yeah. It's a really great atmosphere, and it's so close to everything there, close to the gas lamp district and all of that down there in
No, it's
San
great.
Diego is so great. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. There's our pitch for San Diego Visitors and Convention Bureau.
Yeah. And
We're not paid
they're not
advertisers.
yeah, they're not sponsors yet. Not sponsors
Oh
yet.
man. Oh man. Yeah. All right. Well, what's coming up for the Astros? This brutal travel schedule here, these few games. So down to Miami and then back up to New York. Do you get what are the keys to winning this Miami series for you, Wally?
Basics. Execute. Pitch and hit. If I had to put the one thing that's killed the Astros all year is their runs have not been they haven't scored as many runs. One reason is their slug is down.
Mm-hmm.
They're not slugging like they did last year. And when you get a guy on second base, if you hit a double, he's going to score. If you get a single, he might score. Uh, Runners in scoring position has to improve because over the last 3 or 4 series, it's just been brutal. When you're looking at the runners in scoring position over the last 6, 7 series, they've only been over 200 twice. You started off with the Guardians 133, Rangers 133, Diamondbacks 129, even though they've swept the series. They just 107 against the A's and 111 against the Red Sox. You know, Guys are out there, guys. And so I'd say clutch pitching. And also, if you get Costanza pitching tonight, Jason Alexander, and you get a chance to win, go all in.
For sure. Absolutely.
I think this first game about winning that first game is going to be huge because the team's got to be lacking confidence.
You got to come back from that Boston series. Absolutely. And one of the things that I've noticed that we talked about weeks ago and months ago, it seems to, again, whether it's a philosophical change and something that they're pushing or trying to do or not do, early on in the season, this team was playing contact baseball. They were swinging at pitches, making contact, and therefore things were happening, right? You were talking about running and scoring, runners in scoring position. You got guys on base, you make contact because your chances of something happening increase anytime you make contact versus trying to take the walk.
Oh yeah,
Now, I think some of that quite possibly, and without stats in front of me by far, is a byproduct of lineup construction. You had a bunch of AAA
yeah.
and
No, no,
quadruple A
no, no
guys,
question.
right? So I think now that we're starting to see some of the lineup come back to our major league guys, our hitters, that's what I would really love to start seeing again from the Astros is contact baseball. Let's not get cute and pretty and
Yeah,
try to take walks. You got guys that can crush the ball, and we don't need a home run derby, but again, when you make contact, you're more likely to get something, make something happen, especially when you've got runners in scoring position. We don't need cutesy ball at the plate trying to take a walk. The bunt stuff that's happened over the last 2, 3 weeks, I don't know. That was a little bit frustrating for me, but I understand again in some of those certain positions and who you have at the plate trying to bunt a guy over. Um, I with this team, and especially with some of the guys on here, I don't think that we need to play small ball here. You need to play contact baseball, hit the ball hard, find a gap, and get some runs across the board.
yeah, Yeah, no, I'm with you as far as contact. I get so sick and tired when I listen to people say, well, the strikeout's just an out. A strikeout is the worst kind of outing. Even with the double play, but at least a double play, you hit the ball and you made the guy make a play. With a strikeout, absolutely nothing good can come out of it.
Right. Yep. Yep.
We're also going
Absolutely.
to, we're going to find out a lot because you've got Costanza going, Jason Alexander going tonight. Arrighetti, it's going to be a lot of anticipation coming the second night. The third night is going to be Hunter Brown. So if we can just get one of these first two games and hope Hunter can win a series, winning a series would just be huge right now.
Yep. Well, I think we're going to really see the tenacity of this team here over the next
we're going to
6
find
to
out
9
what
games.
they're made of.
These next 2 to 3 series are going to really show us what this team is made of. If they can pull it up, if they can really get fired up and start making some stuff happen, which I'm pretty confident that we're going to start to see some of that. Again, as some of this pitching comes back, the addition of Carlos Correa, you've got Sanchez in the lineup. I think that this team has got the makeup that it needs to turn this around. And I think it has the tenacity. It's just they're going to have to just pull themselves up by their bootstraps and start making it happen.
Yep. Just win. Make winning plays.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, that's Wally's final thoughts. Very
just
good.
Win, baby.
That's right.
Use the old dirty Al Davis. Just win, baby.
Just win. Just win.
Yeah.
Well, for Wally, I'm Ryan. This is Dirt Diamond Sports Talk. Until next time, go Astros.
Everybody have a great evening.